Hi, fourth graders. Thank you for joining me for Chapter 20 of The Young Man and the Sea. Take my breath away. First thing I do is grab the harpoon and stand up in the stern of the skiff. Trying to balance myself in the harpoon and keep my heart from pounding so hard it makes my ears hot. All because of that splash. Sound of a giant bluefin tuna crashing into the water. What else could it be? Come on, fish, I whisper. But that's all. Just the one splash, then nothing for the longest time. Harpoon starts feeling heavy, so I rest it on my shoulder and try to breathe normal. Listening hard, but I can't hear nothing but the slurp of water around the skiff. Maybe I imagined the big splash out there behind the fog. Maybe I wanted to hear it so bad my brain obliged. Or it was the fog playing tricks on my ears. Sometimes the fog makes a faraway noise seem close by. Hear a man talking and you think he's right next to you, but really he's on the other side of the cove, clear across the harbor. So maybe the big splash came from miles away. Maybe. Then the fog gets bright and I realize it ain't my heart making my ears hot, it's the sun. Sun shining down through the fog, burning a hot blue hole in the sky. Sunlight never felt so good. Sun hits the white mist and the mist starts to get thin and wispy, and then a little breeze stirs and the wall of fog starts to back away, and I can see a fair distance, as much as half a mile or so. Sea doesn't seem so empty with the sunlight making it look almost alive. Then I see it ain't just the sunlight glittering on the water. Something is happening back there in the last of my chum slick, a rippling just below the surface, like something is trying to get out. My brain starts clicking. Should I put down the harpoon and start to motor and steer toward the ripple? Or would the noise of the motor spook whatever it is? Before I can decide, a whole bunch of tinker mackerel explode from the water and scatter in all directions. Looks like a fountain of fish, hot and silver in the sunlight. These tinker ain't feeding. No, sir, these tinker are on the menu. Because before the little fish can get back underwater, a large tuna comes up behind them and launches itself into the air like a fish-seeking missile. A giant bluefin. The big tuna hangs in the air long enough to catch the sunlight, and then wham! Back into the water with a mouthful of the little fish. Never really knew what they meant by take your breath away. Now I do. That big fish takes my breath away and he won't give it back. Whew! I come 30 miles in the dark and fog for this. Giant tuna going airborne. Heard all them stories my dad used to tell about 500-pound fish flying 10 feet into the air, like they were launched from a cannon. Big fish that can leap clean over a boat. Giant fish that think they can fly. Fish in such a frenzy to feed they don't notice a man with a harpoon. It's all true. Then, much closer, a pale streak underwater. Slant of light catching a big fish 10 or 15 feet below the surface, streaking like a torpedo, so fast that the eye can't hardly keep up. Half-moon curve of the tuna's tail fin is nothing but a blur, accelerating from 0 to 50 in a heartbeat. Makes me wonder how I'll ever get a harpoon into a thing that moves so fast. Bluefin must be reading my mind, because one comes out of the water much closer to the boat, blue and silver and dripping in the sunlight. But it's back in the water and going deep before I can think to lift the harpoon, let alone throw it. You gotta be ready, but how do you know where the next one will come up? There! Another big bluefin whooshing along the surface like a speedboat, throwing a wake, chomping on Tinker. Looks pretty close, so I heave the harpoon and pray for a strike. Pitiful throw. Harpoon goes sideways and sort of doinks into the water, misses by a mile. Meantime, I fall across the stern and crack my elbow. When my elbow stops throbbing, I pull on the line and draw the harpoon back to the boat. Tuna must be having a good laugh. You see that? Stupid kid can't throw worth beans. Hard to believe my dad once harpooned 8 of these amazing critters in a single day. 8 in one day. They still talk about it down the harbor, the time Big Skiff got 8 fins and bought himself a pickup truck and a gold necklace for his wife and a bike for his boy, all with cash money. When the line is coiled, I stand up again, holding the harpoon shoulder high, looking for the streaks in the water, trying to figure out where a fish will come up, hoping it will be close enough to hit. I take another throw, and this one is better, but it still misses. Or maybe I was throwing at a shadow, hard to say. Tinker mackerel exploding like hard rain all around, but the bluefin are deeper now, driving the tinker up. Working together, 6 big tuna, keeping the little fish in a big ball so they can slash in and feed from underneath. Part of me wants to put the harpoon down and just watch. Other part of me wants a big bluefin so bad I can taste blood in my mouth. I know from how my dad used to talk that he mostly hit the fish when they were directly under him, more or less straight down. But none of these want to cooperate. Likely they know how far I can throw and they stay that far away, slashing at the poor tinker like they ain't eaten in months, like they're afraid they'll never eat again. I use the oars to turn the skiff around so I can stand in the bow, which makes it easier to throw and not get tangled up in the rope. I'm holding the harpoon high, checking for streaks under the boat, watching the amazing fish leap and slash dive and basically go nuts just out of range. Once I see a streak, but it's gone before I can even think to throw, and by then, it's too late. I keep throwing anyhow, even when I can't see anything, hoping luck will put a fish on the end of the harpoon. Harpooner has to be good, but his best friend is luck. That's what Dad used to say. Can't stick a fish without luck on your side. I throw until I can't throw no more, until my arm is all knotted up and aching, and I ain't got the strength to lift the harpoon to my shoulder. It's like the bluefin know how tired I am, because they give one last flurry of feeding, making Tinker explode in all directions, and then suddenly they're gone. It's amazing how fast it happens. 1 second they're everywhere, the next the sea goes flat quiet, and it's like the fish were never there at all. Like I dreamed the whole thing. More like a nightmare than a dream, seeing all those big fish and not being able to hit one. The excitement drains out of me all at once, like I'm on an elevator going down, down. What do I do now? Can't think, like the mist has invaded my brain and made everything foggy inside my head. Okay, first thing you do is sit down before you fall down. There, I'm sitting. What next? You're thirsty, right? So drink. Lift the water jug up to your mouth and drink. Good. That wasn't so hard, was it? Okay, what's next? You eaten lately? No. What about all those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches you brung along? Good idea. Only my hands are shaking so bad I can hardly open the bag of sandwiches. Partly the shaking is because I'm so hungry. Didn't realize it until my brain said food, and then all at once I'm starving. I wolf down 2 sandwiches and the shaking stops. Think about eating a 3rd sandwich, but decide it's better to save it for later. Might be here a while. Who knows when the big fish will come back, or if they'll come back. Fog clears from my head a little, and I'm thinking it was really stupid to keep throwing the harpoon even when the fish were out of range. Smarter to wait until you can't miss, even if that means waiting for hours. All throwing did was make my arm hurt and spook the fish. You gotta choose your moment. That's something Dad used to say, but until now, I never knew what it meant exactly. Full stomach makes me sleepy. I decide to take a little cat nap while I got the chance. Might as well. Fish come back, the noise will wake me up better than in an alarm clock. So I lie down in the skiff and pull my cap down over my eyes and use my life jacket for a pillow. I'm back home on the dock. Fog is so thick I can't see the house. I can hear my mom and dad talking to each other, but I can't see them. They're looking for me, but for some reason I can't make any noise. Can't make noise because I'm asleep, which don't make sense. Somehow I know I'm asleep in a dream, but it don't matter. I can't make noise and I can't wake up and I can't see mom or dad or the house. Want to call out to mom worse than anything, but I can't. Like I'm tied down with soft ropes of fog or something, and the fog has gotten inside my mouth and sucked all the talk right out of me. Mom, I want to say. Dad, I'm over here. Keep looking and you'll find me. But their voices get farther and farther away, and it's just me alone inside the fog, and I can't move or talk, and then Mom's voice turns into a horn, and I wake up. Blat! 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 Foghorn. Something coming my way. Well, it's getting pretty good. My question for you today is, thinking back to the story about Big Skiff, who was able to catch 8 of these bluefin tuna in a single day, and it talked about all the things that he got. A pickup truck, a necklace for his wife, a bike for his son. If you hit the jackpot like that on something and you just got a bunch of instant cash, what would you spend it on? Put your comments below. It's good seeing you guys, and we'll read again tomorrow.